Hi, I'm Nate Reenders from Reenders Blueberry Farms. I'd like to show you guys, a little bit insight on how we tumble our fruit. Most buyers really like the product that comes out of a tumbled box of blueberries that has been rerun a second time to get the ice off the fruit. But the biggest thing is the cost. For us to run it, it's going to cost us more, which will in turn cost the buyer more. So what we're looking at is trying to reuse the boxes that the fruit was originally in and bring our costs down, which will eventually then bring your costs down in the end. I think a lot of the buyers, these days when you say, oh, I want to reuse a box, they think you're gonna dump the box and that box is gonna sit on a shelf for a year or a month, even let's just say a month, and then you're gonna reuse it. Well, that's not the case, because when we reuse a box, once it is dumped, within 2 minutes of it being dumped, it is getting fruit put back into it with a new liner. So there's no sitting around, on the shelf. There is no chance, of contamination. Boxes go right in, right out. We don't hold any used boxes. If they don't get used right away, they get tossed. When the fruit arrives from the cold storage where the berries are kept for long periods of time, they get brought to our facility and placed right into a freezer that we have. When it's time to pack them, they are taken right out and put right at the line. And we have a machine that cuts the top tape, not the bottom tape, but just cuts the top tape. And the berries are then dumped into the start of the line. The box is then placed onto a conveyor belt, which carries it back to where the scales are, where the fruit will come out of the line. You replace with a brand new liner at that point. Once the fruit goes up the incline belts and into the tumbler, where the ice falls off, the berry is resorted through a sorter to make sure there's no foreign material, and then is ran back into the filler head, where the berries are weighed to 30 pounds in a carton and repacked. Now, in the process between the box going from where we dump it to where it is placed back in the filler head, it is just one single belt, and we have one lady on that belt that places a new liner inside the box. So the berries go into a brand new liner, and then the box is placed back in the filler head where it then is filled with fruit. And then just like the same process from before, the bag gets tucked after it's filled, and then the box is shut and taped up, goes to the metal detector, gets placed right back on a new pallet and placed back in the freezer, and then later brought to the cold storage where they are stored until the buyer picks them up. It usually takes us about 8 minutes to run an 1,800 pound pallet. So initially, when the pallet is right away taken out of our freezer and placed behind the line, by the time those berries are dumped, re-ran through the line, packaged back up, re-palletized, and put back in the freezer is probably only 8 to the most 10 minutes long.